Hi there, welcome back to Not Another Budget. I'm Nicole, and on this channel I'm attempting to cash budget my way out of debt, fix several years of financial misbehaviour, and if that's something you're interested in following along with, please do consider liking and subscribing and checking out the other videos that I've created on this channel. It means so much that you're here with me today. Now, there may be a little bit of background noise going on. It's a lovely sunny day, and so the kids are playing outside, on just like the neighbour kids are playing outside in the street, so you may hear that. I haven't got the heart to go tell them to be quiet while I film a video. So I have had a long day and it's not yet done, but I thought I would film this anyway, of money planning and trying to get organised and things like that. And I thought that actually, now that I've done one part of it, which is trying to get an idea in place for I realised the camera's going out of focus. This is brilliant. Now that I've kind of know that I've got the confirmed income coming in when I go into teacher training and when those dates are going to be and what the amounts are, I'm really conscious of the fact that it's a lot of money for me coming in at certain times, and I really don't want to misuse that or spend it inappropriately and not take the correct advantage of the opportunity that's coming my way. So I'm going to take you through what my tentative future income plans are in terms of savings and spending and basic monthly income that is confirmed, and also what I think is going to be a standard amount that's going to go out each month in terms of bills, and what I'm going to do with the remainder of the balance if there is one. Now, this is only going to cover any student loan or student bursary income that I've got coming in. It's not going to include anything that I do in terms of destashing and selling, if I do any freelance work, if I earn any money from YouTube or anything like that. So this is purely just confirmed set income, which I've had, the green tick in the box. Yes, this is coming in and these are the dates and this is how long for. So you'll see that it's vastly different to any income that I've had coming in so far. So let me take you through that now. Now, pardon me, this is the rough payment schedule that's in place. So I'm going to get paid on or around the 5th of each month starting from September. And the way it's broken down is everything in the in column here is all confirmed income. The bills are roughly the same. I'm going to cough again, sorry. The bills are all roughly the same, and those are my core bills, food shopping. My petrol's going to go up because I'm going to be commuting to placements and school and, my version of school and things like that as well. So that's pretty much going to stay the same. And then the balance is the remainder that I'm left with. And then we're going to be going through what the tentative plan is for the balance today. So as you can see, in 5th of September, I've got a total income of £3,681.15. For the following 3 months, in October, November and December, it is then £2,000 per month set. In January, this is split over 2 different dates, although there's only 5 or 6 days between them, but the total income for January at the minute is £5,681.15. Then we've got 2 payments of February and March, and that is £2,000 each. And then in May there's another large payment of £5,792.70 with 3 remaining payments of £2,000 each, leaving me a total income for this 11-month period of £31,155. My bills, I've estimated, and that's my total kind of expenses, to be £1,928. Now, naturally, there will be some variation month on month. It may be slightly more, it may be slightly less. And I have guesstimated the fuel once and the food as well. So once there is more of a set, once I get into more of a set pattern, this may be revised. But for now, this is what I've estimated. So then that leaves me an overall balance. And my total bills, for the year should be £21,208, leaving me a total balance of £9,947 to spend elsewhere across the year. And this is what we're going to go through now. So I hope that's clear so far. Now, I've done some rough things here, and as you can see, this has been a working document, but what I've done is I've gone through and identified spending envelopes and spending sinking funds that have impacted on my budget in the past and whether I need to accommodate for them, and also things that I need to cover. So Christmas is a fairly self-explanatory one, and that's a total pot of £500 that I'd like to have saved. Technology, which includes the laptop, but also things like a laptop bag, external hard drive, cooling pad, wireless mouse and things like that, and the total budget for that is $950. Now I have got some very set requirements in terms of internal hard drive storage, processing speed, screen size, the SSD, so the storage, whether it's 512 gigabytes or a terabyte or anything like that. And also it will need to be able to run several pieces of software that I will need to use for not only my day-to-day job, but things that I utilize as well. So that in the moment you look for anything that's got a significantly large, in excess of 8 gigabytes of RAM of memory, that's going to push the price up on a laptop. So the total all in for that is $950, and that's something that I am going to be needing to get sorted pretty much in September. Gifts and birthdays, this is an annual total pot for £250. Now, obviously, my birthday period for other people, i.e. my siblings, starts from November, and I have a really busy November, January, February, and then we obviously hit Mother's Day in March, Father's Day in June in the UK, and in the UK for both of those. And then I have that small window again. So I'd like to get that fully funded rather than trying to put that onto my budget again this year. Preps is £50 in December, November, and that's because I tend to do a larger prep haul once or twice a year, December and July being one of those. So it would be good to have that envelope funded rather than taking it out of the monthly budget. Health of £160 would cover 4 chiropractor visits, for example, which is why I've reached that amount. And then self-care of £100 is pretty self-explanatory. It's just having a little bit of money there for self-care. DAV/hiking. Now, these aren't normally due until April, and to be fair, they tend to restock themselves because I would be able to put in for mileage and expenses. What I have to bear in mind is that I may potentially be involved with the scheme across 3 schools. So this is not necessarily hiking for myself. It's needing to pay out for obviously fuel and associated equipment first, and then being able to claim that back through expenses through the school. So that would be a pot of £300 to accommodate that period of hiking. Mainly, to be honest, it's mainly fuel that's the big one, and then any like renewal fees that I might need to pay, and that tends to run from April to July and then goes pretty dormant. Days out in terms of outings or special trips or something like that, 100. Clothing, 200, and I've put quarterly per annum, but to be fair, this is very dependent on my current size and what I have in my wardrobe that suits already. Beauty, if I wanted to get a haircut, which to be fair, I've been cutting my own hair, but anything like that is 100, and then my birthday is 150. So these are all rough potential options for sinking fund envelopes. And then big possible savings. So there's an emergency fund of 1,000, month over of 2,000, annual car insurance. So I'd like to get some of my monthly bills moved over to annual, because then actually I can have that money back into my monthly category to then potentially move around and save elsewhere. But to do so, I estimate that it would be 700 for an annual car insurance, 150 for annual pet, 100 for annual breakdown cover. I want the cat just to have a little bit of a cushion in case I needed to pay out an excess for a vet's visit, for example, or anything like that of £300. I'm conscious that I have a 20-year-old car, I think. No, I have a 19-year-old car. Do I? 2004. Yes, I have a 19-year-old car. 4,000 I feel is a good amount to replace the car. Again, this is nothing that I'm committing to doing. It's just possible ideas that have fed into what you're going to see next. Car maintenance fund of 750, which is around the value of my car currently. What I tend to do as a waypoint is look at how much I spend out on the car in terms of maintenance across the year, and if I start to exceed the 750, that's a sign that actually the car may be struggling. and then a moving fund of 5,000. And that is because I fully anticipate needing to move as of June or July next year, 2024, and that will cover things like the deposit, the first month's rent, if I move into a rental property, associated moving costs in terms of transport, any things that need to be replaced because they're broken or I need to sort out, or any kind of additional upfront payments that I'd need to do. So these are all potential things that have fed into what I've gone on to discuss with you. Now, I've kept obviously this in mind. I'm mindful of the fact that I do complete and work towards small change challenges. I would also use things like, at the minute, the completing surveys to get Amazon vouchers would all go in and go towards the completing surveys for Amazon vouchers and things like that would all go in towards the technology pot. And then where I've highlighted here school/continuing professional development funds, that's because there are some books that I do need to get, as well as some supplies, obviously nearer the time once I know where my placement is and what I will be needing to pay out for. And to be honest, I'm just going to use the penny challenge for that, the one that I've been working on. Do I have it to hand? Yes, I do. So currently everything that's highlighted is a total saving of £20.16 already, and the total amount that you would save on this challenge is 55, including the bonus. So that is what I'm going to put this challenge towards, and that is so that one's kind of done, and that's why it's highlighted and not isolated. So let's go through what the rough plan is. So these are just possible plans that I say would be subject to change, but are going to kind of guide and inform. Now, obviously, one thing to bear in mind is that I will use and save up. Well, I won't use them yet. I will save up any Amazon vouchers that I get through surveys and earnings and put that towards like I've said, the laptop technology fund. So although I've said here that it would be good to use a certain amount of the balance to put towards technology, if I have saved up £50 in Amazon vouchers and put that towards it, it wouldn't be £9.50. So there is some flexibility and a bit of movement within these, and they're very much going to work on a conveyor belt system. So if I get to a total pot earlier than what I've projected here, or I've been able to save faster in other areas, or actually my life circumstances have changed in any way in that time, then that will all take into account as well. So my balance in September, once all of my bills and food and etc. has been paid for, is £1,753.15 here. Now for ease, we're going to ignore anything that's £15, and to be fair, once we get to say a £2 or a £3 balance, I'm just going to leave that into an account and build up as a buffer, and this is just for September. So in September I will basically purchase whatever technology associated with a laptop, and including a laptop, maximum spend of £950, incorporating whatever deals and cashback offers that I can find, as well as Amazon vouchers, but it's the maximum I want to spend. Like I said, I've got to get a device that will do a certain amount and be able to cope with a certain amount, and unfortunately that does push the price up, but I will keep my eye out on any deals and make sure I utilise cashback when I get there. I'm going to go ahead, if I haven't already, and fully funded Christmas, so that would be £500 spent or saved, and then I will also fully fund the gifts and the birthdays for the November 2023 onwards, all the way through to the 2024. So we're going to say 2024 birthdays and gifts, but it starts in November for me. So I will fully fund those two, so they're done. I will put £20 into a preps envelope, £10 into a health envelope, £10 into self-care, and £10 into days out, and that's just to get those rolling and going. Like I said, if there is any change to these larger ones, I'm not taking into account any money that rolls over into September or any additional earning that I've done before that time. This is purely from September onwards, based with the information that I have confirmed for September. So from October, November and December, I then have a £72 a month balance to spend. And at the minute that is split pretty much into preps £15, self-care £10, days out £10, health £35 for October, and then in November it's preps 15, self-care 15, days out 10 and clothing 30. And then for December it's self-care 10, clothing 40, days out 10 and health 10. And I've put the clothing in there just slightly early because that will give me the option if I wanted to get some Christmas pyjamas or an outfit for a work night out, for example, or I wanted to spend in the Boxing Day sales. That gives me the fun to do that. And this is obviously all dependent on the size that I am. If I stay the same size, then actually that one will be reviewed because I have things that would fit. My hope is that I'm not that same size, and I do have to bear that in mind as well. Then we come to January, which is another big month. So the balance for January after bills is £3,753, 15 pence as well technically, but we'll ignore that for now. Now I'm going to immediately move £2,000 into the moving fund, which will fund that 40%, I think, or 45%. Clothing is going to be 130, and that will either be spent in the January sales or sat in an envelope to put towards later on. Health, I'm going to fully complete that envelope, and that's 115. Days out is going to be completed at 60. Self-care is going to be completed at 55. My birthday I'm going to fully fund at 150, and D&V and hiking I'm going to half fund at 150. The cat I'm going to fully fund in terms of his amount, which is £300, and then I'm going to fully fund the annual pet insurance of 150 and the annual breakdown cover of 100. Those aren't due until April time, but it means that actually it can sit there and I can get it done. And again, I can take advantage of any cashback offers or anything if I do see that there. I'm then going to roll over £440 to February to give because actually it's just a bit more of a buffer. So in February, I'm then looking at a total balance of £512, of which I will then complete the D&V hiking fund of £300. So that is then sitting there and it's ready to go. You can technically take groups out from March once the weather starts to tidy up. So I do have to bear that in mind as well. I'm then going to start saving for Christmas 2024 with £60 in that envelope. And then I'll put £150 towards an annual car insurance pot and a annual car maintenance pot of £150. £72 is the balance in March, and I'm going to put £70 of it towards my birthday if anything pops up. I might want to kind of go away for the weekend, I'm not sure. And then in April, we have another big payment as well. And this is the last additional big payment. And that is £3,864. So £110 is going to go in towards Christmas 2024. That's going to cover a saving for March and April. Annual car insurance is going to be topped up to £600. But as I say again, to be honest, I've never ever paid for my annual car insurance, so I don't know how much that would be. But £750 total means that paying in that £600 means that £750 is complete, and that's the target I'll be looking towards. But again, it might be less or it might be more. £2,000 again in the moving fund, bringing up to £4,000. The car maintenance will then be fully funded with the additional £600, and then I'm going to put £150 in towards my next year's birthdays and gifts. So there will still be some money left in that envelope because obviously there would be Father's Day to contend with, but I'm going to go ahead and start saving early for that one and getting that one done ahead of time. And I will also roll over £400 into May, leaving me a balance of £472 for May. And again, there's going to be a rollover there, but we'll bring you back to that in a second. The moving fund is going to get £200, so we're up to £4,200 out of the £5,000 aim, and Christmas 24, which is £110. So again, just trying to get that as much in there as possible. Rolling over £160 to June, and then in June we have a balance of £232 to play with. This is all based on existing what I think I've got to go with based on information I've been given. So Christmas would have £50 put in there, and then a bumper emergency fund of £150, and I'm going to take you back round to the bumper bit once I get to the bottom of the page here in a second. Rolling over 30, leaving £102 for July, £50 into Christmas, £50 into the bumper emergency fund. Now, this is all very fluid. It's meant to move up and down, and this is a document we will come back to many, many times on this channel. But what I'm actually going to do is rip this page out now, and this is going to get pinned to my notice board because it's something at the minute that I am feeling fairly happy with. Now, along with this, because I'm going to need that. Okay, so you'll notice if I go back to this possible savings list that I've not taken into account a month over, and I've not taken into account an emergency fund. The new car fund, to be fair, at the minute is a luxury. Now, don't get me wrong, if I don't end up moving out of this house and I find a job locally and I get to stay for another year, then do you know what? Whatever I have saved towards that would then go towards a new car if needed. However, I'm someone that tends to drive my car until, like, we're done. Now, in terms of my monthly bills and how that relates to the, yes, I write on the slant, I'm sorry. And in terms of my monthly bills and the fact that an emergency fund in a month over isn't there, I will be incorporating into that the small change challenges. Let's do a little arrow down because we like a little arrow, even though it's not quite right. So I'm going to be incorporating the small change challenges, and those are going to go towards the emergency fund, and also I'm going to passively build up a month over. Now, that may take me a year to do, but that is going to essentially give me a month in advance. I will also be using other challenges as well. I should have done this beforehand. This is also not the pen I thought I'd be writing with. I'll also be using other challenges to make extra debt payments. Now, again, there may be some movement as well on my monthly bills, which is why I'm not going to take you through that in as much detail in this video, because again, that may change. Because where I've included things like Microsoft Office, the way I would normally do, and the way I'm currently paying for that monthly, I have seen in the past when I've bought a laptop, I've been given an offer where you can get, particularly as a student as well, Microsoft Office for incredibly cheap for the year. So I do have to take that into account. And yeah. So that is all kind of built into my monthly bills. These, in terms of this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and these as well are all, as you can see there, built into the additional excess money that I've got coming in. So that at the minute is the rough plan and rough payment schedule. I am feeling fairly comfortable with this. Yeah. I'm feeling fairly comfortable with this. I've worked on this for about 5 hours and have run through numbers and scenarios and broken down the cost of things. So I've got everything already sitting in the Amazon basket in terms of the technology. Well, it's on a wish list specifically for technology, which is why I've been able to reach that conclusion. And if nothing else, it gives me the impetus to do the surveys in exchange for vouchers and things like that I've just not really been doing. So I'm like, oh, what would I spend the vouchers on? Now I know. So this is probably going to stay the same in terms of the fixed income, and then this is going to be fairly fluid, but is going to be the overarching guide that I'm going to follow and is going to feed into my budgets from September going forward. One thing to bear in mind again is that it doesn't take into account any extra earning that I get from destashing or freelancing or YouTube or anything else that I do to get extra income. And also some of my bills may change, they may reduce as well, and I've obviously got to take that in mind as and when I see what they're doing. But I felt much more happier overestimating what I'm going to spend and setting myself a slightly higher budget for some areas, particularly with regards to food and fuel, because they're so up and down at the minute, that rather than cutting it too lean and then consistently having to go over budget and not really work very well. The next thing I'm going to go through and do is actually go through and work out, I think I've made a brief reference to wanting to work out what I want to spend my spending money on and wanting to be a local tourist. So things like the day out fund, how much would that cost me? What would I do? Where would I go? What can I do that's free? What can I do that's paid for, and get that in place? And I also need to sort out what I'm doing with June's budget as well, because I've not really done that, which is not ideal. So the good news is that we are nearly halfway to fully funding the school fund. It's like continual professional development, CPD, I think that's it. So that's good, and actually this now has a job, so hooray. This is all done, and I know now roughly what is happening with this one here. So I think that's that. Bowie is now hassling me for dinner, so I'm going to go down and feed him. I also need my dinner as well, because it's been a long day for me, actually. Thinking makes me hungry. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments box below. Now that I actually have time to respond and see them, at the very least I'm trying to heart them. You may be like, hang on, why don't you do this and stuff? And if I've not explained anything very properly, or it's not very clear, just let me know and I'll try my best to do a follow-up and answer any questions in the next video. This is going to come out this evening as an extra video. We'll just do that tonight because I've got time, and I still need to decide what I'm going to do with the live. So hooray for a bonus video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, your continued support. It does mean so much. No Bowie content in this clip because he's wrapping himself around my legs like a clingy thing, and I'm going to see you in the next time. Bye bye for now.